What more would you gain out of life if you created uninterrupted self space? If you felt rested, rejuvenated, and as if you were nourishing yourself day in and day out? What would you feel if you felt rested at work, rested at home, rested on your spare time? What would you feel when you have a new level of rest? Today, we're going to talk about becoming your sacred space. This is one of the most foundational we need in order for us to call in a new level self, a new level manifestation, so that we can hold a new dream, right? And so many forget that we actually need to bring in more peace and more calm, the more that we're also calling in a higher level manifestation. Today, I want to talk about you being more so in your power and you being more so in your rejuvenated, rested self space. Before I go into 3 things that we are going to shift and change and do today, I just want to give you a little bit of a background story when this was really evolving within me. So, for a while ago, many years ago, not even a while ago, but many years ago, I felt that I needed to expand my external world. I needed to find a new apartment. I felt ready and done with the apartment and the one room apartment I always lived in. Like I always lived in one room apartments. Throughout this time and period, I also went through a very bad breakup. I felt that my life has really like flipped around and I felt very unsure about where I was going next. I felt that I didn't have any of the passions I had before. I felt that I really needed to change, the attitude towards myself, how I spoke towards myself, my internal thoughts, everything needed to go. I needed to change my habits. I needed to change my relationships and the dynamics of the relationships I wanted to keep. Like I was constantly doing inner work, Throughout this time, I did a lot that may from the outside look correct, so to say. I was reframing my own thoughts, I was paying attention to emotionally regulate, I was giving myself more and more space, more uninterrupted self space. I actually by that time had a lot of space for me. When I didn't work, I gave almost all the attention into myself. But still, I was not able to manifest a new apartment. I actually didn't even felt that I had the time and space to look for apartments or figure out how I could find a new apartment. Like I did nothing there in terms of following through that dream. And it's because I felt so busy taking care of myself and so busy in changing my internal world. Now, I noticed a key, and when I started to feel that okay, I'm not gaining actually that much of a like it's a next level of me that wants to evolve, but I am not getting the results that I want. And one very important key I noticed was that I still treated my internal world and the involvement and still treated this new level self in the same way that I've done from before. I was hustling, I was chasing dreams and changes, I was constantly like forcing things. I just pushed through the days, even though I felt tired or I felt I needed to rest. I was just like, no, I need to figure out how I can change this relationship, or I need to figure out what attachment styles I have, or I need to figure out, I was constantly in this kind of work position. And I took inner work very seriously. So after a while, I felt that, okay, I need to change the attitude towards this because I'm starting to feel very burnt out, even though I'm like, it looks like I'm taking care of myself. So fast forwarding, when I finally took the action and made the real change in order for me to find an apartment, and when I was internally been like shifting, I manifested an apartment the day after. I started to look for an apartment. And why I believe I did that was because I've been creating my own sacred space. I've been becoming my own sacred space. I didn't any longer need a new apartment. I was already my own sacred space, which I felt that apartment symbolized for me. So there were 3 shifts inside I did in order for me to make this happen. The first one is that I began to shine my bright. I began to take back my power in all walks of life. Usually, if we feel that we are uncomfortable in getting attention of any sort from, you know, potential romantic people, like romance or what you say, or from work, or from whatever it is from you, like if you feel that you in one way or another are uncomfortable getting attention in one way, that is usually because there is something within you that are a little bit afraid of shining your bright. That's the same for if you feel that you're selfish from having your own space, or that you feel guilty or shaming yourself from wanting more space, not giving that space to others, or not like responding any longer directly that someone writes to you or calls you. All of that is oftentimes us being uncomfortable in shining our own bright. So I began to take back my power in that way. I became to really ask myself, when do I feel uncomfortable? When do I not feel that safe in shining my own bright, even being my true authentic self, in just like being my, that delicious, lovely Linnea, which is just so fun and so vibrant, and yeah, just loves her and loves life, right? In what parts, in what areas, in what conversations, in what relationships am I afraid to do that in one way or another? The second thing was to create inner peace. So if you are constantly in a space of disturbed, distracted by thoughts, by conversations you had, by ruminating on something, by planning out your next steps, if you're constantly mentally occupied in one way or another, you do not have that level of peace you need in order for you to call in your next level dream and your next level self, and to be more rested and rejuvenated in your life. It's not possible because your space, your internal space, it's occupied. It doesn't have more space for anything else. Usually what happens, I have told you this before, when we gain more external space, so to say, maybe we feel that we have a little bit more calmer periods at work, or we feel that we do not have a certain person in our life any longer that was like really distracting us, or like when we removed external disturbances in one way or another, we start to notice that, wow, it's not silent. It's still not silent. So if someone is having a certain expectation or pressure of you, like expecting something special from you that you don't feel actually is so significant, or you don't see why you should have that expectation, it's not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility to get stressed out about that. It's not your responsibility to do something else about that. That's person's responsibility. If someone is stressed at work and expecting you to hurry up because that person is stressed out, I'm sorry if that's disturbing your peace, and if that's not what you see it's best in the situation. That's not your problem. It's not your responsibility. We have to be so much more responsible for our own inner peace, and saying no to, I'm not going to react or being pulled in to your energy or to your way of seeing things or to your way of doing things if that stresses me up, if that doesn't make me feel calm and rejuvenated. That is not how I'm going to go about life. So we need to really become very responsible of our own rest, our own calm, our own inner peace. You can even have that as one of your highest values. I do have that. One of my highest values is inner peace. So decisions I take, people I interact with, people I want to create something with, I have the value of, I need to feel peaceful in this connection or at this work, or like peace is so important for me. It's not supposed to drain me, or it's not supposed to make me feel that I'm not at peace, right? And it starts from me not being occupied within at first, right? Okay, so the next thing and the third thing is to learn to rejuvenate and rest. And here's a very important thing. What I learned when I started to kind of go through my healing journey, and when I felt that now I'm more so in my expansion journey, you know, the difference, right? When you're like healing journey is a little bit like going through all the patterns which you have seen that you just survived, whereas the expansion journey is more about like, oh, what more can I get out of life now? What more can I gain? What more can I experience? You know, when you're a little bit in that state instead. When I started to be in that, I realized that, you know, rest was so connected to healing for me. And that I also had been listening to how other people were resting. So rest for me, I realized, is about playing. When I rest the most, I'm playing. So if that's a passion project or expressing my creativity, or if that's like playing with my partner, just being silly with my partner, I feel so rested. So rested. So many times I don't need that extra nap, or I don't need to, you know, just cancel everything and escape from the world. Many times I need more play. So I started to understand that in order for me to have a restful life, in order for me to feel rejuvenated and giving from overflow, not from an empty cup, not running on empty, not feeling drained, was that I actually needed to understand what rest really was for me and then implement that in all areas of my life. How can I play more at work? How can I play more in activities? How can I play more in my workout? How can I play more in cooking food? How can I play more in relationships? How can I play more in my passions? Like, how can I play more in life? How can I invite play and fun and just being a little bit not that serious about life and life's experience any longer? I want you to ask yourself this. I want to give you two questions actually. What was the first one? The first one is to ask yourself, what is occupying my space that doesn't belong to me? What is occupying my inner space that doesn't belong to me? Is it something someone said? Is it some energy that I pick up on that someone else had? Is there some expectation someone has that I don't have? Like, what have I picked up on that doesn't actually belong to me? That's the third thing I want you to ask about your life in general. Like, what do I usually pick up on that it's actually not me? It's not my responsibility. And here I can hold more peace and rejuvenation within. The other question is that, how do I recharge? What is rest for me? Right? What is rest for me? Is rest for me to feel connected? Is rest for me to feel very nourished? That is also a very foundational part for me of resting. Is rest for me to feel creative? Is rest for me to express? Like, what is rest for you? And then I want you to implement that in all walks of life. Infuse all the areas of life with that. Enrich your moments with rest, so that you can start to live a life from being rested, from being rejuvenated, from feeling that when you give from overflow, from feeling that I have my energy and I can give even more of that energy out to the world. Right? That's the feeling that we want. So this is a part of a 4-part mini-series. If you want to listen more, we will talk next time about you feeling guilty about creating your own space. This is something very, very common, so we will address that. And I also want you to know that I have created a playbook called the Self-Devoted Playbook. This is a playbook which we will go so much more deeper into creating your uninterrupted space, connect deeper to yourself, being a person who operates life from overflow, okay? Being a person that feels rejuvenated, rested, a person that prioritizes her calm and prioritizes her inner peace. Okay, so I am so glad to have finally created this playbook. This is a playbook which will be foundational for all your manifestations in life, foundational for all your dreams which you're creating in your life. This is something that we need to check in on every single time we have a new level self, we have a new level dream, we have a new level manifestation to call in. Then we need to create more space, more internal space, do the inner work. So this one will be, yeah, this will really be the foundation for all those things. So I will leave the information in the description. You can read more about it there, and you can grab it directly right now. And I hope to see you next one.